Hello one and welcome to episode 2 of TBR Tumble. I'm starting to record this very early in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. so it's not yet daylight. But yay. TBR Tumble is a recently new series on my channel where I'm going to read my 600 books TBR down to 100. We started out in episode 1 with 598 books. It was just easier to say 600. We ended that episode with 551 books on my TBR, taking into calculation that other books had gone in and out while filming that episode. It was a 100-book episode, so it took me around 2 months to film, which is a really long time and it's a lot of books to interact with. But obviously I didn't read 100 books in that one, but we interacted with 100 books in that one. We unhauled a lot of books in that one, which I'm not going to deny is going to happen in the future. But for episode 2, we are going to do something completely different. We are definitely going to, I think, focus more on the actual books on my TBR than borrow more, etc. Because in the first episode, I did borrow a lot of books to finish series to be able to get rid of them. Well, in this one, we're going to, I think, mostly going to completely focus on my actual TBR. What is going to happen is that we are going to randomize a letter in the alphabet, which is from A to Z. I am Norwegian, so I do have AØ, but we're not going to count them in because the system I use don't have AØ, and I doubt I have that many books that have authors that start with these letters. And if I do, it's probably like, 5 or 10 books that we will pick up in other ways later anyway. So when we randomize this letter, let's say we get an L, we're gonna read all the books with authors that have L in their last name, because you usually sort names by last names generally in bookstores, libraries, etc. It makes more sense than following the letter in the first name. I do have Libib, which we're gonna soon move over to, where you're gonna be able to browse all the books on that letter instantly. And then we are gonna read all of them, but there might be exceptions because we might get books that belong to read-alongs, depending on which letter we get. I'm obviously not going to read all of those now, so I have made a separate read-along shelf in Libib where we can move books over, because I don't think they count officially in my TBR. Since I am actively reading them, I just don't want to read a book for a read-along that I want to read close to that live show in like half a year. We also have the option to move books over to the shelf, which is called 100 TBR. We are reading my TBR down to 100, which means that I, in theory, have 100 slots I can put in books I don't want to read now, because that's what we're doing. So if there's one book there particularly that I do want to wait with, we can move it over there, but obviously that other shelf cannot go over 100, then I need to move other things around. 100 books is a lot of wiggle space right now, but there's like very few books that I will actually want to move over there, because my whole point is to read my whole TBR done, or almost my whole TBR, except 100 books. I think it will make more sense as we interact more with Libib, which I did also mention in the first episode, where we didn't interact with it a lot. But the first thing we need to do is to actually pick a letter. I am a bit scared, but we are going to spin a wheel, which I just made. And I think this is such a fun way to do it, because we can get, we can get a letter that has like 4 books in it, and it's going to be super easy. And then we can really quickly make our 3rd episode of TBR Tumble. Or we can get a letter that has like 25 books in it, and it's going to take me a while. Like, we don't know. And I think that's exciting. It's at least not going to be 100 books anyway, which is always better than the last thing we did. Let's see. We are spinning the wheel. I added it on top here. Let's spin it. Oh! We got F. What does that even mean? Do we hide the slice? I guess we're not going to use F again. Let's move over to Libib. I'm going to look that way. I'm not ignoring you. I am a bit scared because I made it so that we are on this dot here. Or you can't see. Can you not see my mouse? Well, we are on like the star thing on the side. So we're going to press F, and I'm a bit nervous. I honestly don't know what can be F. Let's see. Oh my god, there's so few books here. There's so few books. We're gonna be done in like 4 seconds. What do we have here? Well, first of all, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. That's so little. I'm sweating. I'm so nervous. I don't know why. The first thing we need to do is actually get these books out of my shelves. The thing is that this series, in the first series here by Elena Ferrante, I had book 1 and 4 in that series. That's a problem, because I always want to read the whole thing, so we might need to use the library here in this case, because like, or else I'm not going to be able to get rid of book 4 in my TBR. But let's stop this recording, because we're not going to move anything, etc. It's going to be fine. So we need to go and find these books, and then we're going to move around. So we got 1 fantasy and the rest is like fiction stuff. Let's go! This is gonna be easier than I thought. I already forgotten what we got. I'm just joking. We actually got a couple of Norwegian books, and we got So Gjør vi så by Helga Flatland. This is actually my favorite Norwegian author, but we can talk about that soon. We also got the other Helga Flatland that I forgot I own when I met her, and I haven't read yet. So those two are pretty nice. Where are the Elena Ferrante books? Oh god, the Helga Flatland books just fell. I think they're maybe hiding behind here somewhere. Not here. Not there. Where are they? They're supposed to be here. This is... Oh, look, they're here. This is a very nice feeling. Oh god, I just dropped those. This is like my corner of Norwegian books. Let's see. So, as you can see, that is 1 and 4. Which we are going to deal with in a second. Did I just make all of these books fall out and I can't put them in place again? Oh. Oh. They're not in order anymore. Let's see. Oh. All fixed. All good. What was the other one? It was this Mongrel, wasn't it? We had this. And then it was the foul mouth something. Where is it? Can you see it? It's like small and pink. I'm struggling. I have a lot of books. There it is. It's here. It's here. This one? I literally forgot what we got. No, wait, I remember. There was 1 fantasy. And it's the sequel in the... Wait, I need to go behind here. We were here a lot last episode. And it's a struggle every time because of the chair. So, I do believe have I hidden this series away? That's a bad sign, isn't it? It's here. Look at me knowing where my books are. Wait, I need to take these out a bit. It's there. And I do believe it was the Eternal Ones, which is the last in the series. Will this series survive after I read this last book? Who knows? Putting the others back again. Like so. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there was 9, wasn't it? Or was it 8? Going back to the drawing board. Gatsby. We're only missing Gatsby. Gatsby is a classic in my English library collection. It's up there. Oh god, you're seeing this. Wait. I need to stand on this chair. That is inconvenient. So, Gatsby, I just actually was up here yesterday to get Frankenstein, and it's on top. Maybe TBR Tumble felt like being kind to me after it was so rude last episode. Honestly, that was not that much of a struggle I thought it would be, but here are the 8 books, but this is 7 books. I'm so confused. Because one of the books fell off. It fell on the floor earlier and I didn't grab it properly. That's what happened. So, we have the 8 books here. So, my impressions, let's go through them really fast. Because obviously this is not going to take me that long to read. This episode is not going to be 3 hours long. First of all, we had the Helga Flatland books. I met this author and I read all of her books. And then I realized I had this afterwards, and I was just like, oh my god, I missed a book I had by her, like, because I brought them all to be signed and I literally forgot I owned this one. So this one is not signed, but like she writes Norwegian like contemporary in a way with like really like flawed characters and drama, etc. There's one where we have like the small village where like 3 boys dies in Afghanistan, for example, and then like it's like, what do the whole village, how do they react to this loss? And then there's another one where someone has an affair with her her student, and she moves out into the countryside and starts having an affair with a married man, and that story just unravels completely, etc. So I don't actually know what like this one is about, but I do believe I'll enjoy it because again, she's my favorite Norwegian contemporary author. This one, So You Ever Saw, is her new news release. It came out like 2 months ago. I was planning to read this very, very soon anyway, and then like I just never got to it. But obviously I don't have this sign because I just got it and I saw it was released. I needed it because it is this author. So this is very new, and it's nice to like then I caught up completely on this author, which would have happened anyway because like it's the same letter. Then these two here I got for free when I worked in the store. I heard amazing things about it. They're translated from Italian. And I do believe there's also a TV show. What is actually about is like they are in Napoli and then they are poor and then I assume like they're friends and stuff because it's literally called My Brilliant Friend, etc. She's a very like famous, I hope it's like a touching good novel and not like a boring novel that like I found some of these are. And like I got 4 for free as well because I thought like I would collect them, etc. Now I don't have 2 and 3. So there's different options here. I could go out and get them, which I probably like, I don't know if I would like them, but like if I want to keep this, I obviously can get 2 and 3 later. I also had them in hardcover and I do really like, it's not out of print, but it's expensive. So what I need to do now for these is to check the availability at my library. This is not my phone. This is my old phone that was just lying here. This is my phone. And the reason I have it in Norwegian is obviously because I can't read in Italian anyway. So it's fine. So that means that we are reading 2 books outside of my TBR. To be able, I can't read book 4 because it literally like Roman numbers on them and not read, you know, like I can't read book 4 and not read 2 and 3. That's not how it works. It's really hard to find out the titles, but none of them were available digitally. So I'm going to order them to my local library. They will probably come like, it is Sunday today. They will probably come Monday or Tuesday since they were both available. That means we are going to read these 2. And then if I literally end up loving it, I might buy them. But they also might end up being on hold. But it might be a gorgeous story. It also is translated into like the other Norwegian. It's not the other, but it's the other for me. Because you have 2 written forms in Norwegian. And I have bokmål. This is translated to nynorsk, which is like more poetic, I think. So I like to read that a lot. But I rarely do because I usually read in bokmål. So for me, it is the other one, which is also good practice for me. So we have now ordered the sequels to that. So what are these others here? Great Gatsby, it's Great Gatsby. It's a short book. Do I need to tell you what Great Gatsby is? It's a classic. I got it because I do think retellings of Great Gatsby are very fun, because especially a lot of retellings came in recent years when it was freed from copyright, etc. And obviously like it's a lot of references, etc. So I always wanted to read it, but I have read retellings but not actually the book, and it's only like 145 pages, so that is nice. And then we have this Mongrel. I actually picked this up this year. This I picked up I think for my birthday or right before it. I just think it seemed interesting because it is set in Japan. It is 3 narratives. I like Japanese set books in general, but I did figure out that this was not actually like a translated Japanese book, but from a Japanese author. So I in general just like pick up books that are set in Japan in general. This one, My Mechanical Romance, I thought felt cute. This is also Alexine Farrell Fallmouth is pen name, or is maybe the other name, but it is Olivia Blake, which is author of Atlas 6. And now I can't remember if is this a pen name or is Olivia Blake a pen name, or are both pen names. I am not sure. This one is just a cute wire romance. I just picked it up because we had it in our store. This is when I had discounts. And honestly, like now I feel like I would have been better and just borrowed it instead of like just buying it because it's cute. But at the same time, then I would never have new cute books on my shelves, you know, but we are trying to get better. And then it is the final book in the Deathless series. This is a YA trilogy. I have read 1 and 2. And like, what is it again? Like, I'm trying to remember like the plot, but like, it's like you have the test where they test the color of your blood. And then like, if you have a certain color, you need to become a certain warrior. And then I thought it was actually really cool. And I can explain it very badly right now. And there's no synopsis. But we are gonna like save people. And this is obviously like the 3rd and final one in the series. I thought this was released longer ago, but it was a 2024 release, so it's only last year, but I just apparently been neglecting it. I'm gonna start. I don't know exactly where, or if like I might do audio for some of them, etc. I am still reading some other things, I'm not about to finish that up, but I want to finish this first clip here so that I could prepare my reading for like the next few days and switch around, etc. But that doesn't really matter that much to you because you're going to see me in a moment anyway. So we are excited for the second episode. I hope you enjoyed this idea of picking out books. And then I have many more. Please leave suggestions below if you have some. And now I'm going to go and read something completely different. See you soon. Quick interruption for myself that why we ended episode 1 on 551. We have already like read more things outside this series because obviously I read things for other things as well. So we are starting this episode TBR Tumble 2 with 548. But as I'm gonna go a bit slower in this, more things will probably be read outside of vlog. But I will try to be as fast as possible. But then you know. Hello, I have not spoken to you since I actually started this vlog, and I am in my PJs and I'm ready to go to bed. But I wanted to update this because I did start the first book for this vlog, and we can maybe, it all depends on the book, have more than one update for a book, since we only have like 10 books to cover in this. I thought it was 8, but I realized I added 2 more by going to the library. I feel like also the stats I gave in the beginning is not completely correct because I had to wait longer to start this vlog than I wanted to. So then like my TBR has adjusted more in Libib, but it doesn't really matter because we're just taking out 8 books anyways. It's not like it's going to be that much of a difference anyway. But I started one of their first books here, which is Et liv forbi, or A Life Passing By Helga Flatland, which is, as I mentioned in the introduction, a Norwegian contemporary author. This was her release from 2020, and I obviously didn't read the synopsis for this. I just wanted to read this because of the author, and it is very, very sad. First of all, I want to say that I'm reading this very slowly. I started this tonight, and I used 1 hour on exactly 100 pages, and I usually read more than 100 pages an hour, but this one I'm reading very slow. It looks like it doesn't actually look that thick, but it feel like it looks thick compared to like some UK paperbacks, because I feel like this could look like 300 pages, but it is only like 243 something. It's actually a very short book. So me reading 100 pages, it's like almost half of the book, but it doesn't feel like half of the book because it's like I've been reading it so slowly now tonight. I wanted to finish it tonight, but there was just no way, and now I'm about to pass out, so there's that. So what can I even say about the story? We follow 2 POVs. We follow the mother and the daughter, and they have a very strange, or not a strange relationship, but they have a strained relationship is what I want to say. The mother wasn't really that present for the daughter when they grew up because the father in the family and her husband had a stroke, and then she needed to take care of him and didn't have that much time to take care of her 2 children, and then her daughter feels like neglected because of this, and I felt like that for a really long time, which is understandable, but it's a very hard situation to read about. And now the daughter, she got a baby with a dude that left her, and then she has a new dude and a new child, and then like the father that left, like her ex, came back like not that long ago, and then her daughter started to get a relationship with him even though he just left, and she feels like so angry that he just like came back and took up contact with her daughter without talking to her, and obviously she's letting her daughter do this, but her relationship with her daughter is now also a bit strained because her daughter started like hanging out with her dad that like literally disappeared and wasn't there for her all her life. So there's straining there, and then there's straining between the mother and the daughter, and now the mother, the older mother, not the middle mother, has gotten sick and has gotten cancer and is most likely not going well. I don't even know if that is a spoiler. Does it say? Do we have a synopsis? Yes. It says in the synopsis that she gets sick, so I didn't spoil anything. It is very sad, obviously, because like all of them have so many built-up feelings inside of them that they can't really express to each other, and like there's just strained relationship all around. Well, also they are there for now her sick mother, etc. But a lot of like we go through the story with like flashback in the past, and obviously the current timeline with being sick, and also like with the ex being back in her life, etc. We switch POVs between the chapters. It is a slow book. I feel like there's a lot of text on each page that take me a while to read, and also I generally read Norwegian slower than English for some reason. But it says here, really like in the synopsis, says the novel gives a impression to a story in relations and life and death, and it really truly does. And it's sad, it's serious, it's sad, but we really go deep into this relationship, and I think it's written so well and done so well, but I expected to like this a lot. I just feel like I had a really shitty day and I was really sad, and then I started this really sad book and I was like, damn. But it somehow didn't make me feel sad because at that point BTS had cured most of my depression from today. But it's just like it still didn't make me sadder because like it made me think about other things. It was a whole thing, and like some of the sickness thing hit a bit close to home, but obviously my ending had a better ending than this probably will have. It really make me cry because I feel like I've been on like the brink of tears all day because of the day I had. And it might. I will see if I can finish it tomorrow, but as I am meeting a friend tomorrow, I don't know when I'm coming home and how much time I have to read. And obviously, as I just said, I'm reading it slowly. So we shall see, but I'm very, very much enjoying it. Not surprised there at all. Very excited to read the news released by the author. But yeah, I'm definitely liking this like more than one of her other releases, which I didn't like as much. But in overall, I have enjoyed all of her books a lot. She has really great relationships, etc. In families in general, I think that's what she does best. I wanted to see if it has an English title because I feel like some of her books are translated. It is in English. It's just not in Storograph. It's called One Last Time in English. I will pop the book. So if you are interested, you can read it if you are able to read this kind of story. I knew that she had a book called One Last Time. I just didn't know it was this one because the title for that is not the same type of title. Also, the cover is a choice. It is also translated to Polish and German and Italian. I'm just looking through the options here. And Danish. So yeah, you have some options if you do want to read it. I don't obviously know how it will go, and I'm obviously not going to spoil the ending, but so far very much enjoying it. And then we shall see hopefully tomorrow if I manage to finish it then. Yay. Hello. So last night I did finish At Leave for B, or One Last Time, which is what we found out it was called in English. And it was very sad. I'm not going to talk more about like what I was going to say, like the events of the story, because it is, you know, a contemporary book, a fiction book. So it's very much like tells a tale of this life in this moment of time, and we go some like flashback with some of the characters, as I said before, the mother and the daughter, but then also the youngest daughter that we don't have a POV for, her complexity relationship with her mother, father who raised her, and the father that has now entered her life again, etc. There is complexities in all of this. I think the complex relationships makes the story, and I think it was heartbreaking to read, obviously, for several reasons. But it didn't just break because someone was sick. It broke because they had so much, like, I think, trauma and pain and things that they hadn't outletted for a really long time. And there was no like, it's no like ending where you can just like get all these answers or get like peace for all the things that happen. And I think like this really represented that. It doesn't like have the explosion that you expect it to. It just like goes in a life or several lives, and it's a life passing by, which is literally the title. I was on tears in the book, but it didn't run, and I just really think that we saw an insight almost like too close to these characters that were very, very flawed. For me, it was written very well. I usually sometimes struggle like to do in this book where dialogue is in the middle of the text. It's like they say in the middle of the text like blah 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 said this, instead of like having it written out as a dialogue. Sometimes I struggle with that, and also in jumping in time in the text instead of like having like a certain flashback. It depends very much on how it's written. And also we switch POV between every chapter, but we don't say that we switch POV either. I don't know if because certain books have been like dumbed down for readers sometimes, because that does happen in trans as well. But this one, like, it's not thinking that the reader is dumb. It just does its thing and you need to be on a ride. And I feel like it, for me, it really showed that I was so immersed in the book. I felt so much pain reading it. It made me feel so many things, and I think that is a sign for me a really, really good book. I think it was very well written, and I didn't expect to, you know, not like it, because I knew I was gonna like it, but I didn't know I was gonna like it that much, and I'm very happy. I am between like a 4 and a 5 right now, but I'm giving it a very strong 4 for now, because I'm unsure inside if it is a 5. I don't know why I'm holding it back as if it is a trophy or something, but it's just a thing. But I very much enjoyed it, would very much recommend it. Don't know how it is in English, or if it's like if the writing comes across as well as I interpret it in Norwegian, but it's just, she's just honestly one of my favorite authors. Now, we have finished the first book and we have 9 left. And I was thinking, like, I have a couple of Norwegian books here that we know, but I was thinking we can like have like a breathing room in between to like read like an English book and a shorter book. So I was thinking, oh god, what do I want to read? Okay. I was thinking we could read My Mechanical Romance next by Alex Farrell Fallmouth. I don't think I managed to get a hold of the ebook anyway, and it's best when I'm home to read the books that I have physically. This is a short romance. Again, this is the pen name of Olivia Blake. It is 264 pages, which is, I think this last one was like 260 something, which is funny. 263 maybe. Just that read very, very slowly. So I'm thinking I will go with this next. I feel like if I don't like it, it could be on haul as well, but we shall see. So hopefully I get to read this whole thing today, but we shall see how much time I have, so I'll let you know. Hello! So yesterday I did finish the book I said I was gonna finish, obviously, which is My Mechanical Romance by Alex Farrell-Fullmouth. I don't know if you heard the scene on there, but he meowed loudly. This one is a YA romance, and I knew obviously it's going to be like something nerdy because it is My Mechanical Romance, even though I did think for a moment it was going to be a play on like the band that I can't remember the name of right now, but isn't it My Mechanical is MCR or something? I don't know. I having like a moment where I can't remember the name of the band. But we do follow two different characters. We have Belle, who's very smart, but then she hasn't really done, I was going to say much about it. She doesn't really try that hard. She's just vibing. She doesn't know what she's going to do. They're in the last year of high school. And then we have our main dude. What is his name again? Matteo Luna. He is like super, super smart. He's the captain of the football team. He's the captain of the robotics team. And he has like a bright, big future. His father's rich and smart and all those things. And then Belle joins the robotics team, which is like she's a girl, and then it's just like girls can't be engineers, but then she's very clever and she's a good addition to this team, and they also start getting a thing. So it's very much about her development is trying to find out what she really wants in life, and his development is to not take everything on his shoulders because he's literally a kid. And then also like trying to win this thing, like robotic fights things, nationals and stuff, and then the romance. So I didn't hate it. Like, it was a fun ride. I liked the characters. I understood why they liked each other. And it was interesting. It brought up a lot of, like, sexism, etc. And how girls have to try in different ways. Often like that in general. Still to this day. Not that this book is old or anything. Not like that. But more like that girls need to act and to be in certain ways in the world, etc. So it brought up a lot of things like that. And then for example, Belle's parents had gone through a divorce, so that was also difficult for her. So it had a lot of like humanity in it, which I think was done well. I just don't know how to describe this part where the writing was a bit like weird for me. I felt like it didn't flow the way I wanted to. I felt like I needed to stop sometimes and be like, wait, do we already know this? Because I feel like it was written in a way that where you were supposed to know things before you actually knew them. I don't know how to describe that very well, because words and sentences are hard in life. But it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. Like, I read this story 100 times before in different other YA romances and romances in general. For me, it didn't have... That is why I feel like I've grown a bit out of YA, because the problems I have are very YA. For a young adult, you need to figure out what you're going to do with your life. You have expectations on you as a young person, etc. That's why maybe like when I read adult romance these days, they have like adult problems, which I feel like I can more relate to, even though my problems are never their problems. So that's why I feel like I can connect to those stories more. And like, they always make me tear up, like adult romances, because I just feel so bad and sad for them. But this, I was just like, just some sweet kids, you know? I feel old, and I'm not even that old, but yeah. But again, it doesn't mean it was bad. I could recommend this to people. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored to death of it, and I cared for it, because all of the books I read lately, I don't care. So again, it ended up in the middle of the 3. I would give it like 3.5, but I rounded it down to 3, because I don't think that it's a book that I will particularly remember and like love. But at the same time, I did really felt absorbed in it as well. So a 3. Don't know if I will on haul yet, but now I don't have any plans for being on haul yet. I just posted my 300 book haul, so I don't need to decide it now. I could keep it for a while maybe. I just can't decide. It's hard to put on words exactly why I didn't love it, but I guess the summary of all the things I said, short, the writing, the match with me completely, etc. But it was still it wasn't bad, and I wasn't bored. So there's that. Now, I am going to start the next book, which is Elena Ferrante. As you also saw earlier, I have borrowed the rest of the series. I don't know if I'm going to read this and then just go straight into the rest of the series, or if I'm going to read this and then switch between the other books we picked out for this. It depends, because I read a little review today that someone said it ended on a cliffhanger. So if it's really good, then I might want to dive into the next at once. But if I'm bored, then I might need a break. So we shall see how it goes. But it is also 400 pages, and I do need to go to bed in 2.5 hours. So I don't know, depending on the writing, if I'll be able to read 400 pages in 2.5 hours. Then I will finish it tomorrow. Yay! Hello. So yesterday I did finish. I'm about to fill my haul, so I'm surrounded by a lot of books. Did finish the first one in My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. It is about her like childhood best friend. She's missing now in the present, and then we go back to their childhood and then like early teen and like their relationship, etc., and how to grow up in Italy, etc. And then I assume like the next few books is going to be about that as well. I personally didn't love it. I thought honestly I would, because it's so hyped and like really well known, etc. But I just wasn't that interested in the story. Like, people just like having their everyday life, someone is getting engaged, there's drama, but like I guess what appeals for people is like the atmosphere, maybe, or like the setting, etc. It might even have to do with the fact that like I'm reading it translated into Norwegian. Maybe I would be more intrigued if, for example, I read it in English. That is also a possibility. Even though the translation is not bad or anything, it's just like, I guess like, especially since the Norwegian is translated to is not the one I usually read. Not necessarily disconnection, but I guess for me as a Norwegian, a different atmosphere to the story than maybe it actually has. For example, if I read it translated into English, or if I read it originally in Italian, which I obviously can't do, I still think that like, I don't think the story is bad. I just think like it's a story that is not written for me. And like there's a lot of characters, and like while there is like pages upon pages in the beginning, like off like the different like people, like here and here, and it keeps going. It's just like I wasn't shrewd enough to look back on who everyone else, and I just felt, for me, not that invested. But as you know me, I am going to continue, and I have borrowed the rest in the library. There is this big likelihood that I will haul 1 and 4, the ones I own. But I need a break book in between, because I don't think I can like go through like 4 in a row, because then I will literally be very bored. Because for me, I was just a bit bored and uninterested overall. But I would then just go for Mongrel by Hanneke Votman. I need something completely different, and hopefully this will appeal me in and not... I mean, I feel like there's almost a chance that these could end up being the same vibe, but I just don't think so. So I'm going to read this today and then see if I can at least start the next one of this as well. I have them here right beside me. They are ready to be read. This is actually book 2, so I picked it up at the library, which is why I had a note in still. And I shall read this. They are thick though. Like, this one is almost 600 pages. And I just don't feel that invested in it, but maybe it will pick itself up for me. But yeah, I give this a 3. It's more like I didn't hate it. I just wasn't, what's it called? Like, I didn't dig deep in that I want to be in a book that really interests me. So we shall see how it develops. Okay, so I don't know why, but I haven't been able to read that much lately. But I did finally finish, after like 100 years, it feels like, Mongrel. I don't know what the bookmark is still in there. It just is, okay? And I didn't know the plot for this specifically. I had like skim read it when I picked it up in the store. I picked it up around my birthday this year. It was 3 POV, Mei, Yuki, and Haruka, just double checking the names behind here. One of them is half Japanese and half British, and she is living after her mom passed away, and it's just, she's gay as well, and just dealing with a lot of things. And then there's another character that is from Japan but has moved to England, and she's like adjusting into being in a land where she doesn't speak the language that well, gets involved with another man, etc. And it's just like, you know, separated from her culture and her people. And then we have another girl who is in Japan, and she is involved in the nightlife in Japan with like as a sex worker, etc. before she might return home. These 3 POVs interconnect in a way, but you don't know at once how, even though it can be a bit obvious. So it's literally just like a literary fiction where we have some of the settings set in Japan, some of it in England, and obviously we cross boundaries with like having a half Japanese, half white girl, and then as well as like someone from Japan in England, etc. So there's cross cultures, etc., and adjusting to a new culture, where you belong, identities, etc. It's literally a literary fiction book, if that is what it's called. It's at least fiction. It's not anything fantastical or fantasy about it, but I can say I really, really enjoyed it. I really liked how it was written. It felt very poetic and nice, and I was really invested in different characters. It was really sad though. It had self-harm. It had multiple sexual assault scenes, so it was really, really sad. And it is a lot about like also how women are in society, like how they are treated, how they're disregarded, how they need to act a certain way, how men treat them, etc. So it's very much a strong book about women as well, with different backgrounds and all of these other themes on top of it. So I personally really, really liked it. It has themes that I personally like in my fiction. I think, as I said, it was written really well. I was very invested in the story. So this is one pick that I picked up a bit randomly in the store, but I kind of knew I was going to be interested in it because of like the Japanese setting or the Japanese author, I assume. And that's why I picked it up. And I don't do that many random pickups anymore to be more aware of what I like buy in case I don't keep them, etc. But like these sort of fiction books, I kind of know I will enjoy. So this was very much like a taste thing for me now that I know really well. I don't know though, because like a lot of the things on my TBR, as I have now been going through the last couple of months, last year, is that tastes change, right? So like if I waited 20 years to read it, will I still enjoy it? I hope so, because this is very much a book I really enjoy. Oh, it says release a tangle web of desire, isolation, belonging, and ultimately hope. It also used some Japanese in Romanji and also some kanji, and I was very happy that I understood like all of the Japanese. I was like, wow, I still got it. Even though it was literally like very simple Japanese, I was still happy that I understood it. Oh my god, I shook my foot and then the whole camera shook. Guess I can't sit still. Very much enjoyed it. Gave it a 4. So very happy to obviously have read it and also like have an excuse to read it. Now it is to go back to Our Lady Elena Ferrante. I did start this yesterday. My plan was to finish it today, but I want to go to bed in 1.5 hours. And we have a lot left, so that's not happening. So I'm on page 66. Still not invested. I can't believe I'm going to read this and 2 more books in this series. Someone is yelling at me right now to do enough series. And I can hear you, but I'm just not listening. So we are going to go on with this. My next, that is like not this series, because we are like switching it around, is Great Gatsby. So I think I'm going to read that. It's a short classic, etc. I am more known to that story because I watched the movie and obviously read retellings of that, as I mentioned. So hopefully I will get to finish this vlog up this week, because now I have deadlines on 2 other vlogs. So I need to get my shit together. Let's go. I'm ready for Christmas party. But I did yesterday finish the second book to Elena Ferrante, which I'm not enjoying this series a lot. And again, I will just mention it again that if I DNF, I probably would DNF this series. I don't have that many thoughts, and I think I will leave off like final thoughts until I finish the rest. But I have 2 more, and they are way too long, and I'm sad about it. But such is life. Such is life. I then read Great Gatsby, which I did enjoy. But it wasn't like... I did like it, but I knew the story really well. So I kind of knew everything that was going to happen. Apparently, like the retellings and stuff that I read and like the movie I watched is very accurate to the story. So it wasn't anything in it that is shocking. But I still think that the book is interesting. It's very interesting that it's so popular so many years later. And what like people have really taken from it is very interesting. Because I feel like it's huge commentary on class differences, but the people on top, like the host Gatsby parties, I think that is interesting. It was very short and it was like a fast read. It's definitely something that I could re-relate in the future. I'm obviously going to keep this because I do want a copy of it and it matches my other like classic editions in these. But yeah, it was nice to read it. It's been on my TBR for like a long time. Obviously the whole point of this is to finally read books on my TBR, and I think it was a great way to like finally read it, because classics especially lie on my TBR for a really long time until I read it for like very specific things. So it was nice to get to it. So the next one is then the next Elena Ferrante, and then I'm gonna read the Eternal ones after that, and I do really want to finish this vlog up tomorrow, which sounds very ambitious when I said it out loud, because I do have one Helga, Flatland and another Elena Ferrante left after that, and I don't have any time to read today. So we shall see if that happens, and you shall see me later. I didn't really have that many thoughts on Great Gatsby because I'm a thoughtless person right now, but yay, we are soon doing it. Hello, we are vibing and sitting squished in a couch today, and I haven't eaten a real meal today, and that is the thing, but I did finish yesterday the 3rd book by Elena Ferrante. Still not enjoying them. Gonna read the last one today. Why are they so long? Like, I'm a fast reader. You will know this if you watch my channel for a while. They are so long and they just never end. But I did finish today, even though I was supposed to finish it yesterday, the Eternal ones. I want to say that I had to renew my loan because I do prefer to read on ebook if I can, because then I don't need to have this light on. And I had to renew it because it expired yesterday. That alone lasted 21 days. So I used at least over 21 days to finish up this vlog of 10 books, and I am ashamed. But I did finish this series, and it was fine. It is a while since I read 1 and 2. I will admit that had probably affected my overall enjoyment of the thing. And it is a YA fantasy, and it's like, it wasn't grand and amazing and the best thing ever, but it was okay. I like the characters. I like to see things unfold. I feel like I was definitely more invested in 1 part of 2 than this third one. Again, probably since it's been 100 years since I read 1 and 2. I wouldn't say that this one was bad at all. I could probably recommend it. I'm gonna keep it for now because it has survived so far, and it's like a series I enjoyed, but like, if I'm forced to clear out space in like 5 years, it might go, because at that point I would definitely have forgotten about it. But like, it has to do with gods, it's blood. I really like the friendship we had in here. I low-key liked the romantic relationship, and I enjoyed the characters, etc. It just wasn't anything revolutionary that I would go around thinking about and be like, oh my god, this book is one of my favorites. But it's not the worst either that I would go around thinking about. I hated it. So it was okay. And it's really nice to finish up obviously series, because it would have been maybe lying even longer if I hadn't been picked up for this. But I did end up giving it an ordinary okay 3-star. So now I'm gonna go into the last Elena Ferrante, and then the other Helga Flatland, which I know I will really enjoy. So we are ending with a bang, hopefully. But Elena Ferrante, I have it right beside me here, which is one that's actually on my TBR, not a library loan. It's 573 pages. I think the other one we had was 500 something as well. That is just too long, and I'm just not invested and just don't care about a single thing, and I regret all my choices in existing. But my goal is to definitely finish that today, and I will for sure read Helga Flatland really slow as well. So we shall see if I get to both of them today, because I do actually want this vlog up tomorrow, but that seems very ambitious in my head, so let's see if I can do it. Snow! First snow this winter. Or it's not even winter yet, but it's still snow. I have finished the last book for this vlog, and we're gonna wrap up a bit after, because I need to look through what I've been doing. But I did finish So We Are the Saw, or So This Is How We Do It, and this is about lots of different I haven't spoken yet today. You can clearly hear that. But it's about lots of different people in like a place called Skien, which is like over by Oslo. There's lots of drama, basically, like some are separated, they all play in this like corps. What do you call it? That sounds like military. What is buurkorps in English? It's like they all like play like drums and like trumpets, etc. It's like a band, but it's not called a band. It's really, really, really traditional in Norway, and then you like march as you play, especially on 17th of May, and I don't know what the English word right now, whatever. A lot of the families do play in this, and then you have like the different characters just going through drama, some is horny on each other, as I said, we have divorce, and I do that have severe anger issues, and then the kids are in between this, and there's grandparents, and there's different scenes, etc. Drama unfolding. I think that Helga Flatland writes great drama. I think that she excels in writing deep relationship between the characters, and like why they're acting like they're acting, and like that the drama feels real in a way and not like over the top reality TV stuff. And I think that she has done this well many, many times. However, I don't think that this was her strongest book. I don't know if the problem is me or whatever, but I just felt like I couldn't connect the story and its characters as well as I have in her other books. I'm not saying that this book is bad or terrible and that like I didn't enjoy it, but I was just struggling to like care for what was happening. I think it was way too many characters on page for me to like really dwell into them, and I know that all like they had intricate relationships and like how they were all connected, etc. I just feel like if you focused on like 3 characters, and I felt like we had many more than that all like had their little like page time, and it was too much. She does however have another series where we follow like this like smaller place in Norway, and then we do follow all of their families and the different relationship they have to these 4 boys. I feel like that was still an easier book to get into because it was a whole trilogy, so we settled with the characters much more, and then I had the bind-off of the trilogy, so I read them all in like one go, etc. So that is why I felt like that was an easier way to do it. But this one, like, while it is a bit thicker than her other books, like it's almost 300 pages, I just still didn't care for these characters as much as her others. I just don't think it was as strong as her other works. I didn't hate it or anything like that. I still think that she is a marvelous writer and I enjoyed her book so much. I just didn't love this one. But she is an expert, I think, anyway, in writing family drama and dynamics and relations between people and how to act with each other and like why, etc. And I still could obviously see a lot of that in this story, even though I wasn't as into this and immersed in this as it's been in her other works. I could obviously still see that a lot, and there was parts of it that I was thoroughly like, okay, what's happening right now? But overall, my like last impression is that I didn't love this as much as her other books. I think it would be like a 3, maybe like a 3.5. So it's like, it's not the strongest rating, but I still am ready to read the next book, etc. And I now officially read all the books by this author, and we are done with all the books for this vlog. Now, as I said, I need to look through what I actually said and done here, but you will see me very soon for a goodbye. Hello. In the last clip, I could fasten this mic, and now it just doesn't want to because this is thick, but like we did it earlier. I don't know what's happening. But I have looked through of what I said in this video, and I realized I never wrapped up my thoughts about the Elena Ferrante trilogy, but I did finish it. Wait, I just need to stack my books done behind me here. I did finish the last one and obviously the third one as well. And I just need to repeat what I already been saying throughout this whole vlog, is that it was not a series for me. I know a lot of people loved it, but it was just not for me. And I didn't enjoy myself. I didn't care. I feel like it was just a lot of like drama and like, yes, there were deaths, etc. But it was a drama that I might have enjoyed more maybe in English. It did get a different tone because of the way it was translated, and I did like want to care about the story, maybe as I said earlier that I would enjoy more the TV show if I would watch that. But overall, as a book format, I didn't enjoy myself, and as I said, I didn't care that much for the story or its characters. While I know a lot of people really love this, it just didn't fall in the taste that I enjoy. Again, it has lots to do with maybe the way it was written or like the way it was translated, etc. But I felt for me that it was going to be more of a, was it like grander than life kind of story, but it wasn't. It felt much smaller than I thought it would be, and that also had to adjust my expectations there as well. But I will be unhauling 1 and 4 whenever I do my next unhaul in 200 years. But like definitely I'm gonna take them out with Libib and everything as soon as possible. And obviously the other 2 I'm returning to the library. The rest I'm keeping for now. But I have to fasten the mic. I have to carry my book pile. You have to be able to do this. Come on. Okay, it wanted to, but further down apparently. I don't know what's happening. Okay, here is our pile of books that we finished. Obviously Elena Ferrante is taking all the space in the frame. I think At Leave for B or Life Passing By or One Last Time, whatever we translated to, was on the top, as well as Mongrel, which I very much enjoyed. The others were fine, but this has been a little ride. I'd obviously have very little impact on my actual TBR throughout this compared to our last vlog, even though we picked out 100 books. We knocked out like 48 from a TBR. We have now knocked out 8. I said in the beginning that we started the stats on 548 in Libib, and right now we are on 541. So I have gotten in 1 more since we started. And I feel like I gotten in even more, by the way, since we started. It was just that like I read also more books and taken out of them TBR outside this vlog. So that is why we only are 7 less down than when we started, which is just, yeah, what are we doing here? We need to obviously do bigger episodes next time then and suffer more. We shall see how it goes. But also, since it is the new year is coming, I don't want to like be in the middle of episode in a new year. So we need to see if we do 1 smaller one and then we start like several big ones in the new year. We'll see. Do you have any suggestions of how we can pick up books? Do let me know. But I do obviously have some plans. I did have a good time. This could always be much bigger. For some reason, I started procrastinating reading it because I was just like, oh, it's so few books, we can do that fast. And then it took a really long time, and now it like crashed with other things I needed to read. So that is also really funny of me. But I still have a blast with this second episode, and we still did knock out some books. And we started and finished Elena Ferrante series and finished up another series, which is good. And also, I just need to add that now there's another new book on F, which is the one book I added on my TBR, which is Emily Wilde's Beheaded Facet. So if you press F now in Libib, there is one book there. But I'm reading that actually I'm reading it this weekend in a Patreon readathon. So I am going to read that like this week anyway. I just won't be for this because obviously it was also added after we already picked out our books. But that is all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a violin, because we have notes, or an instrument down below, because that was the last one we read. If you enjoyed this and you should see me soon, new one, thank you so much for watching. Bye!